Hello, hello. Thanks for joining me. I'm really just gonna get right into this one. Gonna go ahead. We're gonna be working in the sketchbook again today. And I gotta be honest, I have not been doing a great job of being consistent with it. Not been doing a ton of sketching the last few weeks, but that's okay. We are here now. We're making time for it. I'm gonna zoom you guys in a little bit closer. I decided I would finally go back to this seashell spread of the shells I collected in February. For reference, when I'm filming this, it's now April something, 11th, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, finally getting down to drawing these shells. You'll have to pardon any background noise you might hear. My husband and the dog that we're dog sitting are working on dinner, so there may be some vague kitchen and or dog noises. But just gonna go ahead. I'm not planning on this being a super long video. I guess at this point you'll know better than I will how long this video is, but I'm just gonna do this little purple shell for now, and I'm planning on it taking maybe like 15 minutes, give or take. At least that's how long I wanna kind of devote to it. I think this one has just a really interesting shape. It's been a really busy week for me at work. I'm sure I've said before on this channel that I work with kids, but I'm not sure that I've said exactly what I do. But I work in a children's museum, and this week the local schools were all on spring break. And so usually during the week we get lots of young kids, lots of toddlers that just aren't in school yet. And so this week we got all sorts of ages, lots of big kids in the museum, which is really fun. It's a lot of really fun energy, but it's a lot of people. It's at times a lot of mess and just a lot to keep on top of. But it's all a fun time. I think I'm gonna kind of do a little blue like underlayer here. I think that's just gonna make it easier to do some shading later if I give everything kind of a base coat. I don't want to go in with the purple too early. I don't want to over purple things. I'm endeavoring this spring to plant some things in my garden. I've never really been a gardener, but I have the space for it now, and so it's something that I'm trying to get myself interested in. I've never really been passionate about gardening, but it's the kind of thing that I want to be passionate about. Like, I think if I kind of force myself to get into it a little bit, I'll really enjoy it. I don't know if any of you guys can relate to anything like that, but like if there's a hobby that you know you would like if you just gave it a fair chance, that's how I feel about gardening. So I kind of made myself do some plantings and get some things together. And you know what? I hate to say it too early, but I think it's starting to work. I got home from work today and I was excited I wasn't excited to go out and water everything, but I was excited that once I was out there, the blueberry bush that I planted, I planted a few of them, but one of them had little teeny tiny blueberries on it. A couple of them did actually, but one of them, they were actually starting to come to a decent size. I mean, definitely nowhere near ripe enough to eat, which is fine. I wasn't expecting them to be, but it was really exciting. They look really cute, like bright purple right now. I thought about bringing one in and drawing that, but I don't know. I'd been meaning to get to these seashells for so long that I just wanted to go ahead and sit down and just do it. In my workplace, we have an art studio that is open most of the time just for kind of free painting and drawing. And that is where I spent the good bulk of my time this morning. It's always very funny because sometimes I get home from work and I'll be thinking, man, why is it that I have all of these creative ideas when I'm at work, and then I get home and I'm not very motivated to draw? And then, one day I actually paid attention to all that I was doing at work, and I was doing so much drawing and painting and sculpting and creating at work that I was like, maybe, just maybe that has something to do with it. Which in a way is good because it means that my job is kind of good at fulfilling some of my creative needs. It's a little bad in terms of me being motivated to work on my own projects, but can't have it all the time. And I would still much rather work a job that's very fulfilling to me than work in something completely unrelated to my artistic interest. I know that works well for some people to really kind of separate their hobbies from what they do for a living, but it's just not really something I've ever been able to separate, and to be honest, not really something I want to. I kind of always want to be working in something artistic. I have lots of ideas for kind of my own art studio that I could open up someday. I don't know. The idea of having like a cutesy little shop of my own has been very appealing to me lately. And I've been doing a lot of research about it. So it is very much on the forefront of my mind. The more I look at this seashell, it has such interesting shapes. There's even more texture here than I first thought as I'm getting into the shading of it. I'm not really sure how accurate this is going to be. So I guess maybe I'll go ahead and say that 100% accuracy is not our goal for today. I think that's all right. Get some of these purple specks in, different shadows. I've always found seashells really interesting. And even after I moved out to Seattle, I never really saw myself as someone who would live near the water, like someone who would be able to just stop by a beach. And when I lived in Seattle, that still was kind of the case, but now that I kind of live out in this little suburb, I'm really close to a little marina, a little waterfront, and I didn't really visit it for the longest time. I think in my head I was still just a little bit frustrated that I had to move out of the city. I didn't have to move out of the city. My husband and I wanted to buy a house, and to buy a house, we had to move out of the city. We could have stayed there if we'd wanted to rent for a while longer, but I don't know, both of us were really just wanting a place of our own, and I definitely don't regret it. I love having more space. I love being able to have this art studio that I'm working in my own home. It's amazing. But there is definitely a little bit of sad around not being in the city anymore. And I think it's such a shame because it made me so hesitant to discover all the good things about the suburb I ended up in. Because now that I've actually been starting to pay more attention to it, I found a lot more little places and hangouts that I've really enjoyed going to. And so it's kind of a bummer that I let myself miss out on that in a way. But we are making up for lost time. I'm really determined this summer to go and do all of the things that I should have done a long time ago when we first moved. Because even after living here for, over 2 years now in this house, I have not been to my suburb's summer farmers market. I have not been to the spring art walk. These are all things that I love doing. I just haven't done them, just have not gone. And so I'm really determined to make that happen this spring and this summer. I just really want to, experience more of this little small waterfront suburb. I tried a new spot yesterday on my way home from work. It's been so nice now that it's been lighter out in the evenings. Just opens up so many more possibilities. Logically, I know that during the winter, I have the same amount of time between the end of my workday and my quote unquote bedtime as during the summer. But because of the daylight, it just feels like the days now are so long. And I think a little part of that is that I've never really loved doing a lot of driving in the dark. And so it was never very appealing, the idea of leaving work in the dark and trying somewhere new or going somewhere unfamiliar and then having to find my way back home. That wasn't a very fun idea, so that's definitely part of it. But now that the daylight hours are longer, I've been kind of feeling the itch to do a little bit more exploring. So I tried a new little coffee shop on my way home yesterday. I took a book that I'm borrowing from a coworker and sat and had a coffee and read my book for about an hour and a half or so. Pretty good stretch of time. And it was really enjoyable. It was a really great cup of coffee. I really wasn't sure what to expect because I hadn't heard a ton about this place. But yeah, it was really great and I was really glad that I went. And I think that's the thing I keep realizing is I keep putting things off and then I do them and I'm so glad that I did them. And then I wonder why I didn't do them sooner. And so that's my big goal for this summer is to just go out and do more things, especially more community-minded things, because I know that I will have a really great time if I just let myself do them. I tend to be pretty introverted, and so sometimes I have to kind of force myself to go out and do stuff, especially on my own. But yeah, I'm gonna make a little bit more of an effort this summer, which I know even as I'm saying it, it's going to be hard, Summer is always a really busy time for work as well. Kids are off school and I have to get ready for lots and lots of summer camps, lots of community outreach. But it'll all be really fun. All right, here's how we're looking. I feel, actually no, I say that, I'm gonna add a couple tiny more details. And then I'll call it on this one. Like I said, I'm not too worried about 100% realism here. Just wanted to capture some of the shapes and the colors. Here's how we're looking. Oh, and I can see I'm just a little over 15 minutes now, which is what I'd hoped to spend. So that's exciting. It means I'm getting a little bit better at gauging how long certain sketches take me. So that's very exciting. And then before I call this video, I did want to show, because I am just always helpless. Whenever I get new books, I feel like I have to show them off because I'm always so excited about them. So I have a new picture book and a new hardcover that I just picked up. They're both thrifted. The picture book is this one. I'm gonna lift you guys up. My husband thinks it's really scary. I think it's cute, but it's Sophie's masterpiece, and it's this like spider woman. I won't flip through every single illustration, but she's a little spider artist. And they drew her as this like half woman, half spider. But I don't know. I think it's really cute. I think the style's really fun. Very playful. Let me see if I can find one of the pictures near the end. Her as like a little old woman weaving her web. Anyway, I think this one's adorable. I saw it and I just wanted it. It's not one that's familiar to me from childhood. I don't think I ever read it. And this one, oh, significantly heavier. Neil Gaiman, I love everything I've read of his. I've never read this one before, The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I actually don't even have an inkling of what it's about, but I had to have it because, well, I love Neil Gaiman, but I love Elise Hurst's art style. She, I think somewhat recently, did some illustrations for a Kobe Yamada picture book, and I saw them in a bookshop, and I was so enchanted by her art that I knew that if these two had collaborated, I needed to have it. I haven't started reading it yet, but just, oh, I'm so excited. Her art is so like, I don't know, it's very impressionistic. It's like, because it's all in black and white in this book, it's kind of spooky. But I just really love it. I ordered this one online from Thrift Books. And so I didn't get the chance to feel the book in my hands before I bought it. But I am so impressed with it. Like the pages feel so good. The cover, like it feels just really crisp and new. I think the spine is really pretty with the blue. So yeah, I'm very excited to crack into this one. But it's probably going to be a while. I've been in such a nonfiction reading mood that I've been having a hard time with my fiction books. And I really want to finish the one my coworker lent me before I jump into this one. But anyway, thanks so much for joining me for this kind of short and sweet, chatty, draw with me video. And I'll see you guys in the next one next week. Bye, guys.